The main character named Hae-yoon sees a mechanism with drawings similar to constellations. Finally, he exclaimed, like it should be like this, and we see how Hae-yoon draws constellation patterns on this mechanism, and they are illuminated with turquoise light. Suddenly, a sphere of turquoise color begins to glow in the center of this mechanism, and a beam breaks out of it against the background of which a picture of a demon can be seen on the wall. So the professor's hypotheses turned out to be true, he said, looking at the drawing of this demon on the wall. Suddenly, a gun is presented to the back of the main character, and the phrase immediately sounds, "Raise your hands. You are under arrest. What kind of bastard do you have to be to start sneezing ancient tombs?" The woman who presented the gun to Hyun's back said, "Draconic department. Jin's move." She introduced herself and said to inspect everything here. He may have accomplices. Yes, meme. That's right, ma'am, said the men from her received. Hyun says, "The police or something, Madam Policeman. You are a little mistaken, I'm kind of a good guy." He, "Shut up, think about it. What kind of person in their right mind would call themselves good?" said Ho Jong, hitting Hae-yoon in the face with a gun. "Everyone, be careful and no unnecessary movements. This is the tomb of Handongjia itself," she said. The first team answered, "Yes." The second team also answered yes. Hyun sits with his hand behind his face. Meme, we found some kind of sarcophagus here. Finally, after so many years of my career, I was able to find something like this, said Ho Jin. Actually, I found him. Answered Yeong. Suddenly something falls to the floor, and we hear caution. Grenade. There was an explosion and we see a cloud of smoke. We see the silhouettes of people in the smoke. We don't hear. We must by all means find this thing. Otherwise our heavenly palace will be destroyed. Only efforts have already been spent to find this thing, said a woman named Tao Ran, giving the order. Kill everyone who is kept in the tomb. Devil. They deliberately use tear gas to intercept. Ho Jin, sis, what about your other guys? Haeng said. Suddenly, they put machine guns to their heads. Pehaen said something was clearly wrong with my life. For the second time today they pointed a gun at me. And we hear someone say, "We found the sarcophagus." Tao Ran said, "Take him away." That's exactly what our subordinates answered. "I've heard rumors that you've found that very thing," she said. Hae-yoon sees a completely different woman who is standing in front of him. "You garbage," she said. Tao Ran, hitting Hae-yoon in the face and adding, "What a lustful look you have. What, you haven't seen such beauties before?" "Yes, and with a veil," said Ho Jin. "That's not the point," answered Hae-yoon and added, "Isn't this Tao Ran?" There were screams and we see how one of the subordinate Tao Ran opened the tomb in which the skull of the demon lay, and rays escaped from the eyes of the skull and hit the eyes of this subordinate. And we see how the servants of the Tao ran away from the tomb, and the person in whose eyes these rays fell into turns into a demon. Monster screams. Servants Tao ran shooting at this demon, but this monster has no bullets. He only shouted angry, "I will kill you," and running at them continued to say, "I will kill. You are all here. Die." And we see him jumping up and swinging at the Tao wound. Tao ran. But suddenly a man from his squad starts shouting, "Shoot, shoot everyone." They start shooting at him and screaming, "Creature, we are here." The demon returns to them, beats everyone and again returns to Tao. Ran looks at her and takes a swing. "Just dare to hurt her," Haeng shouted. Turning around, the demon pronounces, "You shut up," said Yeong, and closed the sarcophagus. The demons began to lose strength. A turquoise light began to come out of him. "These feelings are quite familiar. As if he was meant to protect me," Bao Ran said. Suddenly, she was flooded with memories of her sitting with Haeyoung under a tree in the autumn season, when leaves fall from it, and he says, "I will always protect you. No one else will dare to harm you. Don't get distracted during the fight," Ho Jin said while trying to attack Tao Ran. But even though the attack was unexpected, she successfully blocked the Ho Jin's attack. so she was able to block my blow. She said, "I think it's time to handcuff all of you." "Retreat," shouted Tao. Ran to her servants. "You need to pick him up," shouted one of them, lifting the guy, into which he turned into a demon. "Hey, where are you going?" shouted Ho Jin, trying to attack them, but in a friend something like a whip. Her attack was repulsed, and the Ho Jin, landing on the ground, noticed a grenade near her leg. "Stop!" shouted Hae Yong, adding, "Fool, this is not an ordinary grenade," and knocking Ho Jin off her feet saved her from the explosion. "He Yong," she said. Tao Rao, clearly worried about him. "I see you alive." "Tired," Ho Jig said outrageously. As Hae Yong said, noticing that he accidentally put his hand on her chest, and added, well, it's like ... accidentally ... the devil." Ho Jin said as she noticed that Tao Ran was leaving with his people. "So she doesn't pay attention to me yet, so I'm off," Hae Yun said, noticing that Ho Jin was focused on Tao Rao, and as soon as he turned, she kicked him and he fell. "I feel like it hurts," he said. "The person I arrested can't escape me," she answered. "We observe a mountain road along which military vehicles are moving that call in some kind of camp." Hae Yong gets out of one of the cars. "It seems that she is not nearby, so it's time to flee." "However, what a bitchy character she has," he said, looking around. "Do you still want to run away? Just keep in mind, if you make another shot, you will lose your head," said Ho Jong. "Well, this is what a refreshing and clean air in the mountains, so I decided to take a little walk." Suddenly, he passes by, smoking him from head to toe. He closes his nose, and his eyes turn away, refreshing and light. "For my salvation this time I forgive, but I need to talk to you about something." "So did you accept the fact that I saved you? And now is that why you treat me peacefully?" Hang said, "I don't understand what you mean. Better tell me, who are you anyway?" "In addition, the tombs of Han Dongju," Ho Jonah exclaimed. Damn it. Who can answer her for me, so as not to make a reservation?" Hae Young thought. "Or is anyone home?" she asked. He Yon code number 3027. "I am a soldier just like you. I ask you to keep my identity in the strictest confidence." "What?" she asked in surprise. Hajin code number 5233. "May I ask what department my friend works in? If I'm not mistaken, then the dragon robe seems to be now under the command of Higuoyo. He looks like I'm going to have to write him a report that you missed your target." Hae Yun said confidently. "Reports? Maybe it's not worth it." Ho Jong said, obviously worried. "I see you are quite. It is worth forgetting about our common goal. If you help me in this, then perhaps I will personally recommend you to General Higuoyo." Hang said, placing his hand on her shoulder. "You probably forgot that now I am the commander-in-chief of the Dragon Department, and Higuoyo is my father." Ho Yoon said as she laid Hae Young on the ground. It hurts like I didn't say it. I gave a good answer to Hae Young." "Good guy? Don't talk nonsense enough already. You're breaking my arm now. I will interrogate you about everything, but only later," Ho John said. "Fluffy, what's the matter? Where is my transport?" "Meme, but haven't you already left, taking the skull of the god of war with you?" "However, when I checked, no transports or worms were found," they answered her by radio. "What do you mean by this? That someone played tricks on me and won the skull of the god of war?" Hyo Young asked in bewilderment. "What?" Hae Young asked in surprise. "I follow me. It must be someone from the Taeganga. We must immediately take the skull of the god of war from them," he added. But Ho Jong said in surprise. "Come on, move. I've placed a bug on the bottom of the sarcophagus lid, so I can locate the skull. Trust me for once," Hang said. "Oh, I'm going for the skull. Prepare everything you need. Coordinates later," Ho John said as she got into the car. "I'll ask again, who are you really?" "I'm from A Harbor University, Hyun, and the target is now at the harbor," Hee Yong replied while looking at the clock that displayed the location of the bug. "Okay, Hold on tight, said Hodson abruptly starting off. We are watching a port with containers in which there is an active firefight. Suddenly, Ho-jong and Hae-young drive in. Ho-jing brakes hard and Hae-yoon hits his face on the windshield. Stopping Ho-jong pulls out a gun and tells Hae-yoon, "You'd better stay in the car." Yor abruptly leaves the vehicle. Hae-yoon holding his head says, "Oh yes, she is incorrigible." A soldier runs up to Ho-jong and says, "Chief, now there is a shootout with people who pretended to be our dragon department near the damn bastards." Ha-jian answered from behind the front of the car and fired. Flies past the man does not catch parts of his cheek. It was General Tiangong Takfu Yamamoto. He says angry, "Devil, who the fuck dared to hurt me? I will definitely kill this creature. Do not forget the purpose of our mission. After all, we promised Dr. Ren," said Tao Rao putting her hand on his shoulder. "Deliver the skull of the god of war to Satm at any cost. The helicopter has not arrived yet, so there is time to have fun with them." He answered by reloading his pistols. Shooting at the car behind which the Hojin is located, he added, "Fa, and this is the famous dragon department." "Yes, there are only rags, what a bastard," Ho-jong said as she jumped out from behind the car and fired back. And she added, seriously wounding him in the arm, "Some pathetic scum can't handle the full power of the department. Ha ha. This is the second time she hit me. He's too reckless," said Tao Rao. He took out a grenade, pulled out a chick, and threw it at Ho-jong. "Get down." Grenade. Kriktal is a submissive Ho-jong, but suddenly he jumped out and kicked off the grenade. "Ha, I'm saving you again," he said. "Again he dot. Tao Rao said in surprise. Suddenly a helicopter appeared, and the Toral people began to hook the box with the skull with cables. "PFF, you are very lucky," the general dreamed. "Follow them quickly," Ho-jong exclaimed, adding, "Don't stop fire, bad luck for you." The kid told the general to aim at Hae-young and fired. "Oh, a little more and I would," Hae-young said when he saw that the bullet almost hit him. "Dr. Ren needs this tailor alive," said Tao Rao. "The devil," said Ho-jong when she saw that the helicopter was moving away. "Okay. I will definitely find out how you are connected with these people. You are under arrest," she said as she laid Hae-young on the ground and handcuffed him. Wait. It all started so well. Dr. Ren, we brought what you so strongly desired. Sala Tao Rao. Oh. Really brought it. Ha. This is the truth. I must immediately open it and blast at it. Hey, old man. This thing is very dangerous. Maybe it's better not to open it, the general asked. "Don't worry. I'll be all right. After all, the energy that has accumulated over hundreds of years can be alienated only once. And that guy was just unlucky." Dr. Ren answered, "These feelings. Haha. Finally. In my hands the very skull of the god of war. Haha. Zhuo Yunai's. I will definitely surpass you, you'll see," he said taking out the skull and looking at it. "Stop making a fool out of yourself," Ho-young said while interrogating Hae-yoon. "I'm not lying. I'm really Hae-young from Harborne University. You can verify my words personally with Professor Zhu Yongzhu." Hae answered "So Professor Zhu Yongzhu, as far as I know, Zhuo Yunai's was the very first person in the archaeological community. But does he have students?" Ho-jong asked. "Elder, I saved you 2 whole times, and I lied not once. He answered. "That's when I asked the professor myself. That's when I'll let you go. But if it suddenly turns out that you lied to me, then I don't even know what I will do with you," Ho-jong said. "Let me not lie. You besides, I have never committed sins," he answered. Ho-jong leads him across the square with his hand tied to his handcuffs. Can you take them off? And then the people will not understand," Hae said. "Oh, it's Hae-yoon," a girl from the crowd said when she saw him. "Senior, do you want to watch a movie alone tonight?" she asked. "I'm sorry, but better next time. It's just that I'm a little busy right now." What? Well, Why her? Why is she better than me? This girl said, but pointing her finger at Ho Jong, I'm actually from the police. Ho Jong answered by showing her ID. Ah. Well, then it's understandable. Senior, you promised next time. Be sure to keep it. The girl said as she turned around and left. Removed my hand, Ho Jong said. I'm sorry. Well, that's haven't you now confirmed my identity? Hang asked. Don't talk to me. Suddenly you planned it in advance. I told you that I would only let you go in the presence of Professor Zhu Yunus. Ho Jong replied. The professor is right outside that door. And you'll make sure I can't tell you. Bro, did you come to the professor's funeral too? Said the guy who was at the door. You mean funeral? Hai Young thought. Get out of my way. Professor, the professor suddenly had a heart attack and he said the guy who opened the door. Professor, Haing said as he fell to the ground and started crying. We observe a cemetery where there are many people around one grave. Professor, I found the border of the god of war. But you said Hey Yong, while kneeling near the professor's grave. I recently received your identity, so you cannot hold back and mourn your professor Zhu. Ho Jong said, putting her hand on his shoulder. Back off. Hang yelled as he pushed her hand away. It's all because of you. If only you weren't such a bitch and took my word for it. You're the only reason I couldn't get back in time. How did it happen, damn it? He Yong. The professor had a diary, and he told me that if with him, then give it to you. The girl said from the crowd gathered at the professor's funeral. Give me. Hai Yong asked in surprise and began to read the professor's diary. Haeyong, if you got this diary, it means that I'm already dead. The purpose of my whole life was to see the skull of the god of war with my own eyes. But even without the skull, I was able to prove that the god of war was really not a person. And I believe that you are my student. You will be able to continue my work to raise humanity to a new degree of science. Professor, you have always been correct in your judgments. But unfortunately, what did your professor write there? Let me see, Ho Jong said as she reached for the professor's diary. I'm sorry, but this is mine now. Hae Yong said as he removed the diary from her hand. Are you kidding me? This diary is able to help in the country, Hodson answered. So give it to me. Oh, my old and faithful friend, how did it happen that you died before me? And besides, in the world of archaeology, no one could compare with me except you. But even so, you've always been a lonely miser. Haha. Professor Ren said, I don't know who you are, but I'll be honest, you're not welcome here. Hang replied, oh, this is the diary of Zhu Yunai, so you are his heir. Pretty interesting. Ha ha. Ren replied, yes, you. I told you to get out. I'm sorry, of course, but I think he needs to stay. Said Ho Jong, put his hand on Ren's shoulder. In total, the country has 5 dragon artifacts, and now that we've been able to find one, someone has stolen it. So you're suspected of robbing a national treasure. You're under arrest. Huh? Ho Jong said when she noticed that Tao Ran was trying to attack her. But Ho Jong successfully dodged the attack. Doctor, you should leave already. Tao Ran said, it's you. I see you for the first time. Play dumb. Come on. I don't want this kind of thing happening near the professor's grave. Hang said, don't interfere. You're obstructing the performance of your duties. Ho Jong said while pushing Hae Yun with her shoulder. Enough, Hee Yoon called out, then turned around and saw Tao Ran, which in his eyes began to double, and Hee Yun lost consciousness. But who are you? Tao Ran thought, seeing something similar to memories in which she sees how Hee Yun in armor with a spear is sitting on horseback. We are watching an ancient battlefield on which you can only hear kill, kill, kill everyone. Further, Hae Yun's whine is on horseback and he speaks, let's avenge our fallen brothers. And Hee Yong with his detachment drives the enemy into a corner. The same in turn speak, stop, mercy. We give up. What about our people? Hae Yoon asks. Let's let them go. They answer and bow to Hee Yun. We see how Tao Ran goes to Hee Yun and says, I knew that you would come for me. she said with tears in her eyes. And jumping into Hae-yeon's arms, she added, I am so glad, stupid, wherever you are. I will always come for you. Hae-yeon replied, but I really was already desperate and did not think that you would walk 800 miles for me. Tao-ran said, I told you that I would always protect you. He answered. The soldiers around were shouting, great and mighty general, for the general, my general, says Tao Rao, and it's getting closer to the kiss. This isn't a dream, is it? Hae-yeon thinks. Hey, wake up, come on, says Ho-young, waking up Hae-yeon in the hospital. When he wakes up, he sees her breasts and speaks. They are so big. She hits him on the head in response. It hurts, you're too cruel. He says, Hae-yeon, now there will be a serious question, answer and don't lie. Do you even remember what happened to you before you went to university? Ho-jong asked. Before the university, no. I don't remember, but what? It's just that our database shows that you were a member of our organization, said Ho-jong. It can't be. Perhaps your database ran and confused something. He asked in surprise. Our database is never wrong, then what does it all mean? Hae-yeon asked. In addition, the cameras of the university picked up 100 girl named Tao Ran was in your room. Ho-jong said. Tao Ran, why does she know me? Exactly. I had a dream, and there was Tao Ran. Hae-yeon said. You're talking about a dream, tell me more in detail. Ho-jong said after thinking. It's very strange, I dreamed that in ancient times I was a general. I walked several miles fighting just to save her. Hae-yeon replied. That's how it is, said Ho-jong. What are you going to do? Hae-yeon asked with surprise when he saw that she took out the handcuffs. And what does it look like? I will definitely bring you back to our team. And maybe you remember everything. You are under arrest, she said while handcuffing Hae-yeon. Fuck your mother again. Tables around him where people in military uniform are sitting, and we hear one of them talking. Hae-yeon, code number 3027, during your training, you were awarded the title of excellent student, but unfortunately, you immediately asked for training after graduation. Hee-guo said, I'm sorry, I don't remember this. Besides, I see all of you in the first place. Hae-yeon said, and heard in response, you can see for yourself. And Hae-yeon is thrown a magazine, opening which he sees his photo and data. What is wrong with me? Why can't I remember anything? Hae-yeon said, I would also like to know why is such a great soldier like you left the organization. Hee-guo answered him, I don't know, my head hurts. Hae-yeon said, also, when you entered Harborne University, you became a student of Professor Zhu Yunai's, but did not complete it after 10 years of study. Why? Hee-guo asked. Well, I was helping a professor with his research, and I had nowhere to go. That's why. Hae-yeon said and listened. Professor Zhu Yunai's grave is empty. What? How can this be? Asked Hae-yeon. Professor Zhu Yunai's collaborated with our organization. He was a senior consultant for us, and we don't want to doubt him, but now we suspect the Taeganga who was at the professor's funeral. Perhaps they stole his body, and in the end they got the skull of the god of war. The professor's research is exactly what they need to get into the heavenly chamber. Gravko said, Igoyo hitting the table. You bastards. I won't let you use the professor. Hae-yeon replied. Exactly. You still have a share of our blood in you. Hee-guo answered and snapped his fingers, as the Tao Ran was immediately shown on the big screen. Tao Ran. Hae-yeon said, we could capture her, but we don't have any proof. And I won't ask how you're related to her. Would you like to join us again? If you become one of us, you will definitely find out everything. Hee-guo said, I understand, then I'll join, sir. Hae-yeon replied, fine. You collaborated with Ho-jin a while back, so I hope you guys make a great team. Come in. Hee-guo said. She again. Hae-yeon said. Two people entered the room and introduced themselves. Ho-jin cat number 5233. Waddles code number 6054. Ho-jin, I leave him in charge of you. Hee-guo said. Yes, sir. Ho Jin replied, "Sir, I also want to join the investigation. The Taiganga took my family away for their experiments. I must take revenge," the plump said with tears in his eyes. "Fine. Justice will reach all. Okay. I'm counting on you." Turning away, Higuoyo said, "Hey Yoon, Ho Jin," and the plump one answered, "Yes, sir. I must definitely get my memory back and find out everything. Just wait for me, Taiganga." Hae-young thought. Hae-young sits in the library at a table with many books on it, and he reads them. The teacher certainly had to leave some clue about the skull of the god of war. He flips through the pages one by one, and then a plump appears. He puts his hand on the books and speaks. "Brother is young and truly incredible. This pile of books is making my head spin, so how did you find any clue the professor had?" Ho Jin asked. "Not yet. Also, don't talk like that about the professor," Yu replied. "Look at me. Otherwise I'll arrest you again," Ho Jin said while twisting the handcuffs in her hands. Yes, otherwise I'll pick up speed from you," Yu replied. "Well, can you calm down?" the plump said. Hae-young continues to read and notes something in the Krieg. "Anyway, something doesn't add up here," Ho Jin thought. "I found," Hae shouted. "Botanist. Well, show there what you found," Ho Jin screamed. "Great," the plump said. Previously, similar hand bones were unearthed, and the only machine in the world was used to extract energy from them. And such a machine is located in Dubai, Hae said. "It means now they won't be able to escape us," Ho Jin said. "We're watching a lab where a man in a medical gown is mixing liquid in test tubes. On the table lies the skull of the god of war, and nearby in the tank is the man who turned into a demon." Suddenly liquid from the test tube starts splashing out. "Crap. Failure again. Damn miser Zhu Yunai's. I do not believe that I cannot surpass the dead." That person turns out to be Dr. Ren. The heavenly chamber associated with the skull of the god of war predicts that he was not alive, and you should know that Professor Zhu devoted his entire life to this research. Tao Ran said, "Don't be smart. I know the professor better than all of you." He opens a magazine and feeds a photo of some technological machine and adds, "This machine can extract energy from unusual bones. Haha, I think that's how it should be. With this, I can reveal everything. The doctor gave you 3 months, don't let him down. Otherwise, you know what will happen to you." Tao Ran said, "If you don't trust me that much, you can take this car. I can handle everything myself." Ren said, "As you wish, it takes up too much space." "Then it's time to go to Dubai," Tao Ran replied, and she left the room with the general. "Ha, the girl dared to play with me," Dr. Ren said. We watch a helicopter approaching a building built on a small island in the water. At the helicopter landing site, about 18 people are waiting for the moment when the helicopter lands. He approaches the seat and Hae-yoon, Ho-jong, and Chubby jump out of him. They are met by a man who looks like a sheik and speaks, "Dear, welcome to Dubai." "Yes, hello, speak dear." "And the Arabs are full of enthusiasm," Hyong replied. They both hold out their hands as if they are preparing to hug and walk towards each other. But the sheik walks past Hae-yun. "Your fragrance throws me into ecstasy," Sheik says, coming up to Ho-jon. Hyong, in turn, so as not to disgrace himself, says his hands. "Ah, what a fresh air in Dubai." Waddles couldn't help but laugh when he saw this. The sheik, trying to hug Ho-jon, comes closer. She, in turn, resting her knee on his chest, says, "I think you're too close." "Don't worry. It's just a warm greeting from an Arab. You must respect our culture." Sheik spoke. "Culture? Don't talk nonsense," Ho-jong replied. You are so cold to me. What kind of person is this?" Hae-young asks plump. "This is the young King Carl's. Ho-jin once arrested him for reselling Oriental artifacts," the plump one answered. "Carl's, I think you missed my friend," Ho-jin said as she showed her handcuffs. "Wow, she's really cold to everyone," Yu said. No, you misunderstood me," said Carls. Can we get down to business? Ho Jin replied, well, any word of yours is law for me, the sheik answered, walking into the elevator decorated with gilding. Here, this is a room just for you. I hope you enjoy it here, Carls said as he entered the luxurious guest room. Wow, everything looks so rich in Dubai, Hae-young said, surprised at such a luxury. Please take a seat and we'll get straight to the point, Carls said, pointing to the sofa. Ah, how convenient, really, in a helicopter, Hae-young said as he fell onto the sofa where Ho Jin was sitting. Dunce, Ho Jin said while looking at Hae-young. Carls said with a snap of his fingers. Based on the information you provided, I was able to find the location. The energy separation machine is located in the Ingsinko castle. Security works 24 hours. They also have a special signaling device. And the owner of this castle is Zinko, a black guy who likes to dance weird. Only beautiful ladies who are invited to their point will be able to visit the castle. I understood, Hajden answered. What? Do you want to seduce him? Hae-young asked in surprise. The castle stood on an island. It was only the bottom of the road. I don't see a guard post anywhere. Indeed, very strange. Of course, I understand that this is all for the assignment. But why did we have to wear these uncomfortable suits? Alas, we were not told anything about this. Just shut up. Shut up yourself. Do you think I'm really happy to wear this? If we can't get inside, we'll use a backup plan. Yes, her chest is just right, he thought. Yes, I think you're right. Solidarity, our captain is still that beauty. Are you not listening to me at all? Yes, we are listening. I don't think we should make any noise. It's still early in the morning. See, a crow flies in the sky. In any case, can we get to work? Now, just 1 second. At present, these glasses are the highest technology in the world. They also look fashionable. It is better to be silent and less words, more deeds. We are always ready. Wow. Wow. And how can we get there? If there is such a serious protection, don't worry. With infrared protection like this, there's always an invulnerable spot. Here, this is the power supply. If we damage it, the whole system will crash. Bang, a direct hit on the infrared system is the best. The cabinet began to smoke. Great shot. You're just a pro. Well done, well done. If I had missed, then a harsh punishment would have awaited me. She really is an intimidating girl. Let's move out. Now, they went in the direction of the castle. In the castle rested a man on a cot. And at such and such an early hour, someone decided to get inside. I'll have fun with them. Strangely enough, everything went so easily for us. I think the same. Because this infrared system was recognized by the SSS level. However, we did it. So stop mumbling under your breath. But something is definitely not right here. I can feel it. This is your first mission after all, so your paranoia is justified. A suspicious wave formed behind her. It was a giant hand made of water. She flew right at them. What the heck? Watch out. They managed to dodge. The hand did not hit them. There was an imprint of a huge palm on the sand. What the hell is this? Bullets started flying down my arm. On you. Here, get it. The guy in the cap mercilessly shot at her, but the bullets were of no use to the hand, because it is completely from river water. It's useless. Put your barrel down. Don't waste your bullets. It's kind of like a skull of war. Regular firearms are useless against this. Wait, is this the same hand you were talking about? I think so. So leave it to me. He is indeed a mysterious guy who was able to single-handedly get into the tomb of the god of war. Gossip can play its part. He rose in the air. He was already attacked by a hand. She flew at him with all the power of the water element. But the guy was already assembling the spell. Sealing technique. Feng Shui. Penetrate. He put his hands on the ground. The hand was sealed in a capsule. It began to shrink in size and evaporate, until it finally turned into an ordinary puddle of water. Phew, that's all. A slap flew into the back of his head, unexpectedly. If you had those abilities, why the hell didn't you use them before? The guy flopped to the floor, Haven't you experienced something similar? If so, are you sure you still want to get inside? The skull of the god of war was stolen from my hands, so the Taiganga must surely pay for it. And it is my task to stop their deeds and return the skull at any cost. Didn't expect them to send a feng shui master. I wonder if I should be more serious. The fat bandit began to twirl his ring on his hand again. Dear Cinco, his servant addressed. They're only here to take back the war god's skull. I think you will not be interested in the power of the skull. Okay, I understood what you meant. After all, only thanks to you, I was able to get a hand. A huge gate opened before them. They stared at the entrance with open mouths. What did you use to seal that water hand? Oh yes, it was a feng shui technique that uses the 5 elements. But are you… Stop! And when did I manage to learn feng shui techniques? Torches burned on the walls. They continued to walk along the gray, cold corridor. Everyone be on the lookout. This castle is too strange. I did not expect that guests would come to me so early, so I apologize to you for being too rude. It's all because of my curiosity. I ask you to watch out. A strange power is radiating from his hand. You know, it was quite difficult to implant in your body. He began to draw fire into his hand, angrily looking at the guys. He again went on the attack. This time it was a fire attack. Let's continue our fun. Feng shui technique. A stream of flame was already flying at them, but the guy was not a miss. He deftly repelled the attack of the fat man. He was even pushed back a little, and the girl managed to catch him. I'm fine, but your hand, it took damage. The fat man snapped his fingers. The guys gathered their strength and went further down the corridor. Please make yourself at home. I personally invite you. Please come on in, don't be shy. Yes, thank you very much for your hospitality. They entered a huge hall that was filled with various artifacts. These are the ancient artifacts of Huaxia. Are you a feng shui master? If I'm not mistaken, the feng shui technique is a little stronger than my brush, isn't it? Stop beating around the bush. You're under arrest for stealing cultural relics. Oh, you. I thought a nice lady was here to attend my ball. It won't work against him. Put your gun down. His hand is able to control all sorts of elements, so the bullets will not hit him. Haha. This guy is pretty smart. Let's wait a bit until the skull of war arrives. Crap. How did he know about it? Is he a psychic? I wish this skull of war would arrive soon. I just can't wait. Dear Zinko, guests have arrived, so I think you should not ignore them. Damn you, Carls. We watched the banquet table in the castle. Ahem, I think we shouldn't have left them alone. Hey Yun said to the plump one. Next, we see a corridor with an open door in which Hey Yun with Chubby are standing, and they hear some sounds. Carls, why the hell did you decide to betray me? Ho Jin said, hitting Carls on the shoulder with her fist. Wait, you misunderstood, Carls answered. It would be better for you to grit your teeth, and even tighter, said Ho Jin, swung at Carls. Wait, just don't hit. Yes, I did not betray you. Wow, it was close. If only a little more my beautiful face would have suffered, Carls said when he saw that the Ho Jin hit the wall right next to Carls' face. Speak. Ho Jin called out. Yes, it was Cinco who made me, Carls replied. If you even dare to lie to me, I'll fucking smash your face in and send you back to jail, Ho Jin said as she touched his chin. My goddess Ho Jin, the moment you first arrested me. Then I fell in love with you at first sight, he answered. Better shut up. I don't want to hear it, replied Ho Jin, who nearly vomited at those words. Okay then, let's get to the point. You know that I'm an artifact collector, and Zinko is my precious client, he answered. And you think this is a reason to betray me? Khr Jin screamed, grabbing his clothes. Let me finish anyway. He came to me to look at new products and randomly look at the information you gave me, he answered, remembering the conversation with Cinco. And this diamond is beautiful, but if you have something really worth, for example, Do you have something that looks like a hand? Zinko asked, looking into the magazine that Carl's was reading, which had information given to Carl's Hojin. You yourself know if I find something like that, I will immediately sell it to you. But unfortunately, I don't have anything now, Carl's answered. Then you know that you won't be able to deceive me. And what you were looking at right now is a machine that is designed for unusual artifacts, Zinko said as he easily pushed Carl's off the chair he was sitting on. Hey, wait, I give up. This is for the God of War skull, Carl's answered as he fell to the ground. So you told him? Ho Jin said outrageously as she hit the wall. Understand? I was in a quandary. Carl's replied. Lord, did something happen inside you? Zinko asked as he approached Haeyun and the plump one. It's okay. It's just that our madam is practicing her blows, Haeyun replied. Zinko, I'm here. Save, help, Carl shouted, running out of the room. Let's hurry, because the show will start soon and we need to be in our places, told Zinko. Carl's. What could you find out? Haeyun asked Ho Jin. That bastard told that asshole everything, she replied. It won't be easy, Haeng said. We see Zinko and Carl's enter the room. Where the fuck is the God of War skull? Shouldn't those people have already come? Zinko said, pushing Carl's against the wall. I told you that everything depends not on me, but on them, Carl's answered. Crap, Zinko called out. And besides, I brought a treasure with me, Carl's answered, reaching into his pocket. This glove was found next to your hand, but this is just a suggestion, Carl said to the ink, holding out a glove. Give it back. Now it's mine, Zinko said as he snatched the glove from Carl's hands. Wow, I'm already starting to feel the power from her, Zinko said, putting on a glove. No wonder, because this glove was created specifically for the owners of the hand, Carl said. She is beautiful. Carl's, motherfucking. What is this? Zinko asked as he saw that the glove had begun to wrap around his arm and glow with a purple light. Motherfucker, yes, I will kill you, Zinko screamed as he fell to the ground in pain. Well, actually, this glove was indeed dug up along with the hand, but it serves as insulation. So what about you? You were just my guinea pig. You already forgot that this hand belongs only to me, Carl said, putting his foot on Zinko's forearm and pulling out a knife. Wait, Carlos, please don't do this, Zinko said. But Carl's, with a movement of his hand, cut off Zinko's hand. Carl sat down on the sofa and drank some wine. It is a pity that you forgot thanks to whom you became this way. Carl's taking off his glove from his hand. In my opinion, I only Zarya gave this value to such garbage as you. Even this castle belonged to me, not to you, said Carl's, pushing the picture behind which was the safe. He entered the code for the safe, and suddenly the door began to open. It turned out to be a lock from a hidden door. Carl's came in, which led to an expensive room. Ha ha, with this, the world will fall at my feet. Hojin, you will definitely become mine. And the car you're looking for is actually right under your nose, but 50 meters underground. So, get in, my baby, Carl said, putting the brush into the car. Forgive me, my dear left hand, Carl said, drawing his knife again. He cut off his arm and screamed and threw the knife on the ground, and he rested on the car in if, holding back the pain. Damn, how I hate this process, he said as he put his hand into the car. Oh, it hurts, he screamed. Idiots think they can get the skull of the God of War, but in reality they will simply die if they really decide to cut off their heads. What else is this? Carl said in surprise when he saw that the wall was twisted from the explosion from the back. We see how the general, walking through the tunnel with a rocket launcher, shoots at the wall. You, metal wall, open up the fuck, the general said. We see the general firing at the wall again. Carl's is looking forward to the hand recovery process being completed. Come on, I made it to the metal wall. Maybe our target is right behind it, the general said over the radio. We see Tao run with Dr. Ren entering the castle. Reception. We have successfully entered the castle, Tao Ren answered the general on the radio. If you look at them again, I will kill you," Ho Jin said when she noticed that Hae-yoon was looking at her breasts during the dance. "Okay," Hae-yoon replied. "Keep attacking until we find the entrance," Tao Ran said over the radio. "Understood," the general answered with a smile, aiming at the wall. "And besides, some pathetic metal wall can't stop me," the general said, shooting at the wall again. The wall warped even more from this explosion. "Damn you, just not on time. How slow are you?" Carl said nervously. "Okay, challenge accepted," the general said with a smile. Another explosion shook the castle. Everything in the hall shook as if from an earthquake. "Earthquakes?" Hae-yoon asked in surprise. "No, it's something else. It's the Tao Ran that have finally been caught. We must immediately arrest them and return the skull of the God of War," Ho Jin said. "Where are you?" Hae-yoon asked in surprise. "Let's hurry. I can't wait any longer," Dr. Ren said. "And where is his hand?" Tao thought when she saw the wounds. Cinco's body. Tao Ran and Dr. Ren saw the entrance to the lab with the machine. "Stop attacking. We found the entrance," Tao Ran said over the radio. "What?" Ho Jin said in surprise. "What is Zinco? Why doesn't he have a hand?" Hae-yoon also said in surprise. "Crap. Maybe the Taiganga did it to him," Ho Jin said. "Stop. I'm sorry, but this is not about me. I don't believe that the wall can stop me," the general said, firing again. The rocket hit the wall and there was another explosion. "It can't beat," Carls said. There is just a bit left," Carls added nervously. "Haha," he laughed. "This world will be under my feet," Carls said when he saw that the process was over. Another explosion rang out, and the wall couldn't stand it. Rackles saw that parts of the wall were flying at him and said, "Well, a hole. How impatient to look. Who has come to visit? Get it," he yelled, using the force of his brush to hurl pieces of the wall back into the tunnel. A piece of shrapnel flew past the general's head. He miraculously dodged, but his cheek hurt again. He noticed this and touched the wound. "Ha, quite interesting," he said. "Weakling," the general said as he jumped out of the tunnel. "Yes, I'll tear you apart," he shouted as he swung his katana at Carls. "Ha ha, what an ignoramus. You definitely can't beat me," Carls said, pointing his hand at the general. "What?" the general said in surprise. "It's power like the skull of the God of War," he added. "It's pretty amazing that you were able to find this room. I need to properly reward you. Try my power," Carls said. The general replied weakly, kicking Carls on the arm and landing on his feet. He noticed that Carls had something wrong with his hand. "Hey, where did all your ardor go?" the general said, waving at Carls. But Carls dodged and said, "You." I knew that the process had not yet ended. Then Carls rushed to the tunnel from which the general came. "Crap. If it wasn't for the pain in my arm, I would have been able to tear it," Carls thought. "Where are you going?" "Well," he quickly gave his hand, the general said as he ran after Carls. But Carls, as soon as he got into the tunnel, blocked it with his hand. The general hit the wall that Carls erected, but nothing could destroy it. Thank God that I had time," Carls said when he was safe. "The fusion of my body with the hand is still not completed," Carls said. "Could he really control metal?" the general said in surprise. "What else is strength?" he thought. "Have you fought anyone here?" Tao Ran asked as she entered the room. "Yes, I met a man here who is able to control metal," he answered. "Ha. This molecular machine is beautiful. With this I can definitely complete my research," Ren said. "That means metal control," Tao Ran said in surprise. "Enough talk already. Give me the skull of the God of War," Ren shouted. "Yes, I understand. The general answered, removing the case from his shoulder. "But that person really had a strange power. He could even control my knife," he added. "I can't believe there is such incredible power." "What did he do when he used such power?" Ren asked. "Well, he raised his left hand to me, and there was also a strange glow from this hand," the general said. Haha, so that person has arm bone strength. Perhaps the hand has such incredible strength. but it cannot be compared with the power of the war skull god, Ren answered. He opened the case in which lay the skull of the god of war. Looking forward to seeing the power of the god of war, Ren said, taking the skull in his hands. But when he went to the molecular machine, a bullet hit the floor near his leg. Immediately put down the skull. You are under arrest, Ho Jin called out as she ran into the room holding a gun. Nothing and no one can stop me, Ren answered by placing the skull in the car. Don't do this, someone shouted. The power of the god of war began to burst out of the skull. We watch as everyone stands around the car in which Ren put the skull. It's you who shot me, the general shouted as he ran towards the Ho Jin. Too slick, said Ho Jin, trying to hit him with a bullet pistol in melee. Are you completely stupid? The general said as he knocked the gun out of her hand. Devil. Then bite it, said Ho Jin, trying to hit him. And you're pretty good, Ho Jin said as her fist collided with the general's fist. You need to immediately pull the skull out of the device, she called out to Hae-yun. I will be your opponent, Tao Ran shouted, knocking the pistol out of Hae-yun's hands with a whip. Crap, they don't understand what the skull is capable of. Hae-yun thought. Didn't expect us to meet again, Tao Ran said, looking at Hae-yun. Tao Ran, don't interfere. They brainwashed you, Hae-yun called out to her. You mean brainwashed? She asked. Do you remember what happened to you 10 years ago? They purposely erased your memory, Hae-yun replied. Don't talk nonsense. I've been in the organization for a very long time, she answered while trying to hit Hae-yun. Impossible. I definitely saw your enrollment papers at Harbor Institute 10 years ago, he replied as he dodged her attack, and added, heed my words. Lie. She screamed again, trying to attack him, but he dodged all attacks and said, Feng Shui only works against the supernatural. Crap, Ho Jin said. Ha, you dare to be distracted during the fight, the general said. Impossible. What went wrong? Ren said, surprised. Suddenly the car started to crack. What is this? Ren said when he saw this. Shit, the general said. Again, carefully, Hae-yun said while saving Tao Ran from the explosion. The car exploded and shattered into pieces. The general tried to save Dr. Ren, but a large piece of shrapnel flew into his back. Don't paw, Tao Ran said, pushing Hae-yun away with his foot. Skull, said Ho Jin when she saw that he flew into the air. Don't interfere, shouted Tao Ran, trying to catch the skull. I'm sorry, but this is my job, Ho Jin replied. They grabbed the war god's skull by the horns at the same time. He began to glow even more, and they were both thrown in different directions. Damn. I forgot to tell them that the power of the skull is too dangerous for people, Hae-yun said when he saw that they fell unconscious. We observe a forest area with trees on which the leaves are pink, and under one of the trees sits Tao Ran and Hae-yong in armor. Tao Ran waters Hae-yun. It's great to have a drink in front of a beauty in cherry blossom petals, Hae-yong said. Maybe stop drinking already, you're a general, Tao Ran said. What happened to you? She asked when she saw that he began to cough. Hae-yun looked at the hand he was coughing into and saw blood. It's blood. It can't be you, said Tao Ran after seeing this. Tao Ran, it's okay. It's just a cough. But I don't seem to be able to keep my promise, he said as he touched her face. And we see him clearly losing strength. Do you want to betray me too? I do not want it. I want you to stay with me forever and protect me, she said, hugging him. Well, don't cry. This won't happen, Hae-yun answered. But Tao Ran remembers the general's promise. I will never forget him, she said. Yes, I remember, Hae-yong replied. He extended his hand to her, and they crossed their little fingers. We see Tao wounds in the hospital. She opens her eyes and speaks. General, wow, so you're already awake, answered Hae-yong. Hae-yun, what am I doing here? And what actually happened? She asked and thought, remembering the dream. Was it a normal dream or my memories? She raised her hand and noticed that she was handcuffed to the bed. What do you want to do with me? She asked. Don't worry. I won't hurt you. I only fastened you to the fact that you touched the skull, Haeng replied. Why would you save me? She asked. I don't know myself also. I can't get it out of my head that we've already met somewhere, he replied. Strange. But I also thought the same thing, Tao Ran. So don't worry. I won't hurt you for sure, Haeng said. Okay, I'll believe you, Tao Ran answered and thought. Why would I trust him? It's ... What's wrong with her? Tao Ran asked. She is less fortunate than you. The doctor said she received a dose of radioactivity. Most likely it is because of the skull. Even I don't know if she can handle it, He Yun replied. Reception, I dug up something here. We need to urgently meet, said Chubby on the phone. And what could you find? Hae Yong asked the puffy, putting his hand on his shoulder. Chubby dropped his phone, and a folder on the page of which Fido Tao Ran was visible from fright. What? The plump asked. Frightened. Haeng asked. A little. And what about the call? I just called the authorities and reported the situation, Fluff answered. To the authorities means, and what do they think? Haeng asked. Well, if we need help, they'll do anything to help us, Fluff answered. Is it true? You work so hard for our team, Hae Yong said while taking the plump by the shoulders. But still, it's somehow strange. I still can't believe that there is such a thing in the world, Fluff answered. What? But hasn't your office encountered this before? Hae Young said as he started pulling the plump back and forth. Everything is spinning. I'm about to vomit. I'm actually talking about this. The age of the bones of the Tao Ran was determined to be more than 2,000 years. She also remained in order when she touched the skull of the war. He said, pointing his finger at the magazine in which this information was. 2,000 years, it's impossible, said Hae Yoon. But wasn't it just a dream? Was it for real? He thought, remembering how he sat with Tao Ran under the sakura. Now this has only heated things up. So I'll go and find something else, the plump said. Is it just a dream? Or is it not a dream? Tao Ran thought. Tao Ran, I need your help, Haeng said. Which? Tao Ran asked. Look, it's the age of your bones, Hae Young said as he handed her a magazine. 2,000 years, she exclaimed in surprise. You know, sometimes it seems to me that you and I knew each other in the past, Haeng said. Tao Ran threw out the magazine and said, don't talk nonsense. Do you think I'll believe this crap? I won't say anything. Don't even ask. But I wouldn't lie. Especially to you. I can't be fooled by these pathetic tricks, she answered and thought. But why do I believe everything he said? You are truly lucky that there is something in your sense that could protect you from the radiation of the skull. We urgently need to do something to help her. Oh yes, I completely forgot. I also have no memories of my past 10 years. You and I are in the same position, Haeng said. Wait, if we've both lost our memories, then I think it's possible to get it back. Give me your little finger, Tao Ran said after thinking. Damn, what am I even doing? Hae Young replied, well, holding out his hand. We promise, they said, crossing their little fingers. We see a Tao wound lying on some kind of medical device. And it also has some jar of black liquid on it. All hope is only for this. We are watching how this device begins to glow. Tao ran out of the apparatus. So how is it? I hope everything is fine. Why are you silent? Are you sure everything is fine? Haeng asked. Yes, everything is fine. So you can take it, she replied, reaching for a jar of black liquid. Healthy. Thanks to this, we will be able to radiate it, Hae Young said as he took the jar. I don't know why, but I'm a little offended that he's so worried about her, Tao Ran thought. Ho Jin, I was able to find what might help you, he said. I see it was hard for you, said Ho Jin and thought. Do you really want your old lady to look better? Ha ha, here you go, he answered. What the hell is this? She said, surprised. Beware, this was extracted from the bone marrow of Tao Ran. With her bone age and immunity, you might be able to heal. Do you think I'm stupid? But if it was so difficult for you, then so be it. I'll try. Said Tao Ran and began to drink the liquid from the flask. Well, a door flew in piece by piece, almost hitting Hae Yun. What? Are you okay? Hae-young asked when he saw the plumpness on the floor. I overheard that you have a cure for radioactivity, the general said as he entered the room. I need medicine, Dr. Ren, who was on the general's back, said. Said Hae-yoon. Less words, better give me medicine. The general said. Hojin, drink everything now. So the medicine in that little bottle, give it to me, said the general, rushing towards the Tao Ran. Stop, Hae-young said as he swung at the general. Fool, do you even know what you're doing? The general said, hitting Hae-young in the jaw with his elbow. Well, stop it. You are under arrest. Hae-young also called out as she swung at the general, but he dodged and snatched the jar of liquid from her hand and pushed her away. Professor, it's medicine. Have a drink and you. The general said, holding out a jar to the doctor. But suddenly a whip flew through your jars. What? The general said in surprise, barely dodging him. But on the way back, the whip hit him in the face. Taoran, what the hell are you doing? Have you forgotten which side you are on? I'm sorry, I'm not one of you until I get my memory back. Taoran replied. Professor, get up, we have to go. I hope you have not forgotten that the Taiganga does not spare traitors. The general said. Threats don't work on me. Tao Ran replied. You? Yes, what's wrong with you? The general thought. Damn bosses, I hope everything goes according to their plan. She thought. Ho Jin, what's wrong with her? Haing said as soon as he regained consciousness. Let me help. Tao Ran said while helping Hyun get up. Crap. People from Thiangong are so mean. Haing said, even though she took the medicine, but the radiation is quite strong, so it is unlikely to help. Tao Ran said. But then what are we to do? Haing asked. We have no choice but to explore the tomb after all. The skull of the god of war was found right there. Tao Ran said. I will definitely save you, Hae-young thought as he looked at Ho Jin. Okay, I got you. Then let's go now. Haing said. Comrade Young, forgive me, but you're better off without me. For Ho Jin, you need someone to look. So said the chubby. Never mind, I'll leave it to you. I'll get the medicine at any cost. Haing replied. Yes, I rely on you. The plump said. I went. Tao Ran said while looking at Hae-yun and heading towards the exit. Hey, wait for me. Haing replied. Ho Jin, you will certainly be rescued. We are watching a mountain road along which a car is moving. It's a black SUV with police flashing lights. Please drive slowly. Suddenly, because of you, we will drop the skates. Hae-yoon said, frightened. Don't worry, I drive well. Tao Ran replied. She was driving so fast that the car was thrown to the height of her own hull. We watch as Tao Ran and Hyung go through some kind of temple. I still can't understand how girls can enjoy drag racing, Haing said. We need to somehow activate the stone platform so that we can go inside. Tao Ran said. Understood, then I will have to use this technique again. Hae-young said while raising his hands. Feng Shui technique. Gossip and everything, he said, and some symbols appeared around him. Where did you learn it? Tao Ran asked. I don't really know myself. I said that like you lost your memory. So I don't know where this power came from. Okay, we need to go. Maybe one day I'll be able to get my memory back. Haing said. I hope I will also regain my memories. Especially those dreams that I had. Tao Ran thought. Here we are right there. The skull of the god of war was found here last time. Come on, he said, pointing with his hand the same mechanism as last time, and a ray of birch light burst out of it again. And we again observe the picture of the demon on the wall. Impressive. But that's why there is a feeling of blood resonance. Tao Ran said. Tao Ran, why did you suddenly get up? Hae-yun asked as he waved his hand in front of her eyes. Look, it's a scepter. And this person looks like those who got infected from the skull. Tao Ran said while looking at the drawings. I think I understand what it is. The infected have several stages. Hae-yun said while looking at the image of the raging demon. But in the next picture, he has already been defeated, and we see how the scepter is pointed at the demon. Rather, everyone is trying to heal him. The following figure shows how this demon turns into a human. That means how? The scepter can cure the infection. Suddenly, the scepter in the picture begins to glow with birch light. We watch as the chariot rides along the road to the cave. In this cave is what looks like a large box. People standing around screaming the great general has arrived. And this mausoleum is really magnificent. Haing said. General. Well, I'm Tao Ran said. What are you? Are you embarrassed that I'm a commoner? I must be extremely lucky that I was able to get the hand of such a beauty. Haing replied. No, I would never have thought about it. She answered. Do not cry. I told you that even death will not separate us. Haing said. But what about disease? You can't keep your promise. Tao Ran replied. Ha ha, so you're talking about it. Haeyong said, taking out some kind of medallion from his pocket. Here, hold this jade. If we can meet in the next life, then if you keep it, then I can keep my promise. He said as he handed her the medallion. But my general, you talk about it so easily. We are again shown this box standing in a cave. Oh my great warriors, we haven't lost a single beat. Fought to the very end. Haing said. Tao Ran puts a helmet on him. Let's all lift up our emperor together. Haing shouted. Whoa. For His Highness, for our emperor. The warriors shouted. Haeyong gets off the carriage. Tao Ran holding neuritis thinks. General, I will definitely find you in the next life. Haeyong goes to the cave to the box. He climbs the steps straight into the box. And suddenly he hears. General. Haeyun said in surprise, turning around and saw Tao Ran running towards him. I don't want this. I don't want you to leave me. How will I be without you? She said, jumping into his arms. Hush, hush, I told you everything will be fine. He answered. If you decide so, then I ask you to take this with you. Women are strictly forbidden to enter the emperor's mausoleum, so I cannot be with you. But at least this thing from me will accompany you to the very end. The Terran said as she held out the scepter to the general. Okay. I'll take his dream as a memory of you. Well, for now, I said. Haeyun, let's go. He said as soon as he climbed into the box. Yes, General. The soldiers answered. General Tao Ran thought while weeping. I will pray that this scepter will truly help you. We see the mountains at dawn. In the tomb of the god of war lies Haeyong, and on it is Tao Ran. Ah! Tao Ran said as she opened her eyes. Nephritis. She screamed in fright, stretching her hand to her neck. Phew, he's there, she said, looking at the jade. Have I been living the truth for more than 2,000 years? And that same general from dreams is him. Tao Ran said while looking at Haeyun. Perhaps these dreams are the very lost memories. She said. Oh, head, where am I? Haing said. God, he really is a copy of that general. Tao Ran thought. What? Haing asked. So he has the same memories as me. So it really is him. Tao Ran thought. Exactly. We need to find the scepter now. Having blown himself up, Haeyun shouted. The scepter, but where could it be? How to find him? Haeyun said as he shone his flashlight on the drawings on the walls. Come on, move your brains. Then he remembered how he was lying in a certain tomb, and next to him was a scepter. Scepter. It seems to be there. Haing said. Are you talking about the general's grave? Tao Ran asked. What? How do you know? Haing asked. I don't know, I just know it. Great. If you know where he is, then we can save Haejin. Haing screamed. There is not much left, we need to report it. Haing said as he walked towards the exit. Dream girl, is it really me? Tao Ran said. Young brother, how are you? I hope everything went well, said the plump while talking on the phone. What nonsense. You're just trying for nothing. I feel great. Ho Jin said. What? Do infected radiation have multiple stages? The plump asked in surprise. What? What are the other stages? Ho Jin exclaimed. Haha, well, a couple of horns will grow there. But you can tell her that I found a cure. Haing said. What other horns? I don't want. Ho Jin called out. What a fool you are, for me to strain so much, said Ho Jin. We watch the general and Dr. Ren sit at the table, and Dr. Ren receives an SMS that says, they are now in the tomb of the god of war. The gods really are immortal. Over laughing said Ren, I need to cure my father as soon as possible. The general thought. We observed the entrance to the very cave in which the general was buried. It seems that this is the same place from the memories Hyun and Tao Ran are walking along the road to the cave.